Hope you're all still awake. Late Night Mega here. And remember those treasures that we teased you with last time? Well, we're going to pick them up this time. After talking to this guy. Well, that was a fascinating story. We're also going to actually explore this town this time.
You! You were attacked by Sin, right? Recently, was it?
Yes,
I
was.
So, Sin can't be
No,
far,
actually it was
right?
1,000 years ago.
You're
I
not
was
hiding
attacked by
anything,
him.
are you? Why would I?
If Sin's nearby, it'll attack the island for sure. But it hasn't. I wonder why.
I'm sorry.
What do you
I
think
really don't know
we're
anything.
in cahoots with
To
Sin
tell
or
the
something?
truth,
How could
don't even know
anyone
what
be?
the Crusaders are.
You're kidding, right?
Sin, the toxin. Gotta tell him who we are.
Yes, sir. The Crusaders are sworn to battle Sin. We have chapters throughout Spira, accepting all who wish to join our struggle. The hero Mihen formed the Crusaders 800 years ago as the Crimson Blades. Later, our ranks grew and we called ourselves the Crusaders. We've been fighting Sin ever since.
What? You've been fighting 800 years and you still haven't beat it?
Well, we've steered Sin away from towns many times. And that's all we can do. Nobody's ever been able to defeat it. Our mission as Crusaders is to protect the temples, towns, villages, and people of Spira.
So, then whose job is it to defeat Sin?
Is Sin's toxin really this bad, sir?
It does seem rather bad. We could just tell you.
I feel like the whole
I think it's better
Sin's
for you
toxin
to try
thing
and
is
remember.
just something the
Protect the
writers invented to
Perhaps
try
heaven
and
will
smooth
help you
over a lot of
regain
the
your memory.
plot points or reasons to explain the plot,
We've been
which
excommunicated
I'm not
from
a
Yevon.
big fan of
We
that.
must go now. Everything is riding on our last battle.
The last battle. Remember that for quite a bit later, but there's an Albed primer there on the counter. You can't really see it with what's-his-name's head in the way. So yeah, I am using a guide for the Albed primers, and I'm going to be using a guide for, well, two other things. One of which we'll be dealing with in this part. Oh, treasure. This is one of the treasures that you've been waiting for. That's Phoenix Down. Wasn't that just such a thrilling, exciting item? I am, like, failing to camera angles here. And these treasures that we showed off last time. A high potion, 400 gil, and 2 regular potions. I guess I'll talk to you, and maybe you'll give me permission to open the treasures. Or you'll just say something about Sin. Okay. Now, I do like the premise of this game. I do like the concept of having this big, evil
Go present yourself to the
Sin
temple summoner
creature.
before we eat, yeah?
And the whole goal of this game being, you know, trying to find a way to stop Sin. And we're going to learn more about that when, well, when we go present ourselves to the Temple Summoner. But first we'll talk to these people. Yeah, you could say I'm from the sea. And once again, I do really like this music here. It's kind of calm, peaceful. It really fits the tropical atmosphere here. And again, I don't know for sure, but I feel like it's a remake of The Fisherman's Wharf. From the Fisherman's Wharf music from Final Fantasy VIII. Which is like one of the few things I like about that game. Alright, so it seems that we have a basic small village. There's some small businesses going on here. And I'm going to try, you know, walking over here. This seems like a good place to hide a secret. And I keep pressing the X button all over the place. I'm not finding a secret. Oh no, I thought there was a secret somewhere over here. Let's check this side. And no, I actually get stopped here. I was really convinced, or past gameplay me is really convinced, that there is a secret treasure or something somewhere around here. But yeah, I'm not finding it, so we're gonna move on. And now we're in the temple. And it looks like you've got people praying to statues.
It was then, standing in that place.
That you remembered everything. No.
I began to realize how different this world was from my own.
Or that. It sounds like you were living in a world prior to sin, or just as sin started to attack the world.
Ten years have passed since Lord Braska became High Summoner. And finally, we receive a statue for our temple.
Oh, what's a High Summoner?
Why don't we just...
I got too close to Sin's, toxin.
Why don't we just, you know, explain things to him instead of treating him like some sort of freak every time he asks a legitimate
It was
question that
funny
he
hearing
doesn't
myself
know?
make the same excuse over and over. Funny, and a little sad.
The Summoners are practitioners of a sacred art, sworn to protect the people of Yevon. Only a chosen few become Summoners, who call forth entities of great power, the Aeons. The Aeons hear our prayers and come down to us. They are the blessing of Yevon.
So what he meant was that we should respect some kind of great men, or something like that, I figured.
Yeah, pretty much. Alright, now let's wander around here. And I guess there's nothing treasure-like. Okay, well that's nice of you, I guess. I have to wonder how real this whole Sin's toxin thing is, or if that's just something that the people of Spira kind of made up for, you know, people who get transported to their time or world and through sin and are unfamiliar with their customs. Or if Sin's toxin is, you know, actually a real thing. Because Titus here, he seems to remember everything about Xanarkand. He hasn't lost those memories. You know, his actual memories. I don't know. I'm not sure what the writers were intending when they came up with that plot point. I really hope it wasn't just used as an excuse to explain the basic plot to us. Because it seems like there's so many better ways they could just do that. Okay, we can't go up the stairs yet. This is going to be me not knowing the next sequence trigger. And I think, oh, well, maybe I have to come back out here. No, this can't be right. Maybe we'll go check with Waka. No, that can't be right. Waka sent us into the temple. We have to do something in the temple. We have not met the summoner that I'm thinking of. And it's not time to stay away from the summoner yet. Well, actually, it kind of is, but... So I'm wondering what the next sequence trigger is, and I end up spending several minutes talking to all these people. We get some interesting information, but nothing too relevant. I remember my first time playing this game, which was also my last time playing this game, that, you know, I kind of got stuck here for a while and didn't know the next sequence trigger, because it wasn't something really obvious. By the way, we do have to go back and talk to Waka. I'm going to check these rooms again. I'm also convinced that there was supposed to be a treasure in one of these rooms, which I'm also not finding. But, again, oh well. I'm not even sure if I'll get too many of the ultimate weapons, or if the ultimate weapons are really going to matter that much. There is something cool that we'll get to do with the weapons a bit later in the game. Okay, so at this point I'm like, hey, yeah, we're gonna go back and check with Waka. Waka Waka. He was in this house, right? Oh, I'm surprised I got that
Sorry, man.
right on the
No
first
time for
try.
lunch yet. Take a nap. You look bushed.
Bushed. Yeah, I'll take a nap. I don't want to become a bush. Who knows, that might happen on
You could
Spira.
at least go see how they are doing.
We can't interfere. It's a rule.
But it's been nearly.
Okay.
But it's been nearly.
Oh, we have
Nearly a day
flashback.
already.
Perhaps you could go look for us.
People are searching for him now.
So they're talking about Titus's dad, Jet. They are actually talking about that.
Who cares
I'm not
whether
just
he comes back or not?
hypothesizing that.
But he might die. Fine, let him. Do you hate him so? But if he dies, you'll never be able to tell him how much you hate him.
Oh yeah, well then keep him alive. Just for that. I like what kind of... I don't know what kind of rationale that is. It doesn't make much sense to me. I mean, clearly his relationship with his father was pretty bad. I'm gonna say Jet's not the best father. Just a hunch. Alright, well, we had a little power nap for who knows how long, and now we go back to the temple.
Is something wrong?
The summoner hasn't returned from the trial.
Eh?
Well, apprentice summoner, really.
Huh?
There's a room in there called the Cloister of Trials. Beyond is where the apprentice summoner prays. If the prayer is heard, the apprentice becomes a fully fledged summoner. Remember?
So someone is in there somewhere and they haven't come back out. Right, I got it.
A day's already gone by.
A whole day.
Is it particularly dangerous in there?
Do they
Sometimes,
need
yes.
food?
Why don't you go in and help?
There's already guardians in there. Besides, it's forbidden.
Hey, but what if something happens? What if the summoner dies?
Our precepts must be obeyed.
Like I care.
You don't even know this summoner. Why are you charging in and disrupting all their customs and traditions?
Maybe. This wasn't such a good idea after all.
Gee, you think? You just charge headfirst into the Cloister of Trials. I hate these things. Fortunately, there's not too many of them in the game, so the Cloisters of Trials is basically a little puzzle area that you have to go through. And there's like there's a special treasure you can get in each one of them, and you have to do a certain something extra, a little bit extra, in order to unlock the treasure. So, well, I'm basically going to, tell you the directions off of the guide that I have here. So yeah, you touch those glyphs. There's all these glyphs. There's going to be all these spheres. And the game will give you a very vague explanation of how to do things here. The Cloister of Trials, from what I've played and playing again and seen played, it just feels like it's a big guess and test sort of game. So yeah, any pauses you see here are probably just me reading these directions. So, Glyph Spheres open the way to the Chamber of Faith, Destruction Spheres open the way to Hidden Treasure, and Besaid Spheres are also necessary. What a wonderful hint. The Destruction Sphere is, the thing you need to open the whatever thing to the treasure. And we do need to get the special treasures from all of the Cloister of Trials. Fortunately, we're only going to have about 6 Cloister of Trials, so it's not that bad. Well, it is, but there's only 6 of them. Okay, now here I'm going to screw up because the next direction says, okay, insert the sphere to the door, go inside the newly opened door and remove the sphere from it. Okay, so I went inside the door and I'm looking around for a sphere and I'm not finding one. I'm finding all these other glyph symbols and all this. So you have Besaid spheres, which is, well, Besaid being the town we're in. If we're at the next town, which is going to be Kilika, we'll have Kilika spheres. These places are obsessed with spheres. We'll touch the symbol, which that's not the thing you're supposed to do next. Well, not according to my guide here, but there's some things you can do, like, out of order. It doesn't have to be a completely specific order. There are some things you have to do to actually progress. And here's a sphere. A Besaid sphere. I was not supposed to get the Besaid sphere. Wasn't that the glyph sphere I had earlier? Yeah, I want to get the glyph sphere. But, yeah, something that kind of slips past me on several occasions. You can actually take the sphere from that open door. That's not something that I thought that the directions actually meant. I thought it meant, walk through the door and find the next sphere. Yeah. So I'm going to take the Besaid sphere, and we're going to plop it into this statue here, or pedestal. And, well, that happens. So yeah, the difference between Besaid spheres and glyph spheres, I've never really understood from a functionality standpoint regarding these Cloister of Trials, because to me, both of them seem to help you progress through the place. And here, if we push the Besaid sphere and that pedestal all the way to the end, we will actually go to the end of this place, and we don't want to do that. But yet, if you read what the glyph sphere said on that Cloister of Trials hint tutorial thing, it said the glyph sphere is what takes you to the Chamber of Faith. But that's already going to be proven not true, because we're going to use the Besaid sphere on that pedestal to get to the Chamber of Faith. But I'm also not finding, the glyph sphere that I'm supposed to insert into the wall there. So that's why I tried inserting the Besaid sphere. And you can only hold one sphere in your hand at a time, even though you have 2 hands. And these spheres aren't... They can't be all that heavy if we're running around like this. Alright, well, we'll try putting the Besaid sphere here. Yeah, so a lot of this is just kind of like a big guess and test thing, but sometimes with some of the Cloister of Trials you'll get like, there'll be certain sequence triggers that will like take away your sphere permanently, so if you needed to use it someplace else before using it there, then yeah, that's where order of operations will be important. Like there, I kind of lost the glyph sphere completely now. I can't get that back. But now we have the destruction sphere, which is what we needed. Now I gotta figure out where to put this. This is not where to put this. But yeah, you can put spheres on these pedestals. In fact, I believe you can put 2 spheres on a pedestal. I think my directions... I'm misreading the directions. Let's see what the directions actually said. Take the destruction sphere out of the pedestal and insert it into the room where the Besaid sphere was. Yeah, I'm thinking I need to put it... I read that as put it into the pedestal and then push the pedestal over to where the Besaid sphere was. And that's why I'm confused here and why I'm rechecking my directions. So yeah, expect that sort of thing a lot as we go through the Cloister of Trials. I mean, the directions I have, they're fairly well written. I'm just trying to translate them into the 3D game, which I am not the best at because, you know, 3D navigation often confuses me, even when I have, you know, very detailed step-by-step directions on what to do. And now I can't even walk through there. Well, that's just great. Unfortunately, you can step on that little glimmer thing to reset the pedestal. Okay, so let's take the destruction sphere back out. And this is the most basic version of the Cloister of Trials. Obviously, they're going to get progressively more pain in the butt. Which is why I printed off the directions for them. Okay, so we put the destruction sphere there, and you unlock the treasure room. But you see, it's all just, from my perspective, we get the Rod of Wisdom. From my perspective, it's all just a guess and test sort of thing. Because, you know, you don't know where exactly the destruction sphere goes for you to activate stuff, or where any other sphere goes to activate these triggers. And it's, I don't know, I'm not a fan of guess and test puzzles. To me, a good puzzle would be something that you could figure out just within the game. I mean, technically you can do that by just, you know, guessing, testing. But I don't like just doing that, because I feel like I'm just, like, blindly stabbing into a haystack looking for a needle. I know I'm stabbing to look for a needle, but I don't know why I'm doing guessing testing here. Oh, Waka finally caught up to us.
Hey, it's okay. Only summoners, apprentice summoners, and their guardians can enter here.
Well, I'm not any one of those
Tradition,
things.
very important.
So what about you?
Me? I'm a guardian.
So why weren't you here before?
A guardian? Whoa! Ah!
But yeah, after
go on a
that,
pilgrimage to pray at every temple
we
in
have
Spira.
completed the first Cloister of Trials. It wasn't
Guardians
that
protect
bad.
them.
Actually, none of them are really
The
that
Guardians in
bad
there
from what
now.
I remember.
One of them's got a short fuse, and who knows what the other's thinking. Well, now that we come this far, might as well go all the way.
Okay, so Guardians protect the Summoner. Summoner summons Aeons. And we're just intruding on all this.
What are you doing here? Didn't think we'd be able to handle it.
No,
Well, you've been here
it's,
for 24 hours,
it's
and
just...
the Summoner hasn't come back, so no, we
See,
don't.
I told you she gets mad easy.
Is the summoner all right?
Who are you?
You ask who we are and then immediately turn away from us, and then nobody answers either question. Like, those two questions were so disconnected, and no one answered either question. This is why I have issues with the plot. Or at least the writing. I'll say the script on this one. And now we meet the summoner, who probably needs food. She's been in there for a full day. She looks like she's gonna faint. Does someone want to, Okay. The blue beast guy can. His hands look disproportionately bigger than what they should. Just his hands. I don't know, maybe it's just me. But those seem like freakishly big hands even for his size.
Become a summoner.
Oh, that's wonderful news. Who are you? Who is anyone? We just had 3 new characters and nobody named any of them. I mean, I could name them, but
Man, was I surprised.
I don't want to get ahead of
And here I was
the
thinking
plot.
summoners were all old geezers.
What makes you think... Well, I mean, I guess the only summoner statue you saw was an old geezer. Oh, okay. Yeah, let's just completely ignore that you severely violated our rules, and let's just go celebrate. Although I guess celebrating a new summoner is kind of what they do.
What? Ow!
Wait till you see this.
I can't see anything.
And Waka acting
Ready?
like a big goof. I like him.
Okay.
And we get title screen music? Okay, that seems odd. So now our summoner is going to, well, summon the Aeon. Okay, that's pretty neat. He seems friendly. Or at least he respects the summoner.
I had never seen anything like it in my life. Sure, it was a little scary, but still, I could feel a strange kind of gentleness coming from it.
Alright, and we get to name the Aeon. I'm gonna keep him default names Val
I remember that night, we talked for the first time. I didn't know it then, but after that night, everything changed. For everyone. For me.
Okay. So now it's the nighttime party.
Let me introduce you to the team. This guy here wants into the tournament so bad, I let him on the team.
Oh, is that how we're phrasing it now?
His memory's a little fuzzy, so don't mind him if he says anything odd. Come on, say hi.
Or maybe just don't treat him like a total wacko.
Hi guys.
Really long, awkward silence.
So what's our goal?
To do our best! Nope, we got a new goal now. Our new goal is victory! To win
Victory.
every match, defeat every opposing team. To
Yeah, we're
bring the
not gonna
Crystal
do
Cup
that.
back to our island.
We're not
That's
gonna
all
do
we
that
need
either.
to do to win. Easy, huh?
Oh yeah, victory. What a concept. Oh hey, there's the summoner.
Victory! 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 Victory!
Now we're gonna talk to her, aren't we?
Victory!
Or
Victory!
maybe we should just stay away from the summoner.